Hello, everyone. This is Animezingly Baka, the amazingly stupid podcast all about anime and movies and TV shows and manga and comics and books and music and whatever else I decide to talk about. That isn't video games, of course, because we have enough shows about that. I am, of course, your host, Mark Christian Nez, and today, this week, I'm not feeling super chatty in terms of all this stuff. Andor completed, that's the big news of the recent week, and I guess there is that to talk about. I am a little sick of talking about Star Wars. I'm sure you are 10 times more sick of hearing me talk about Star Wars. So there is that to get out of the way. But then my later topic, to just spoil it, to give you a little hint of what there is to expect, is the question: is the 2025 spring anime season a weak season? Is it one of the weakest in a while? It's kind of feeling that way. Now, roughly halfway through it, a little over halfway through, I'm looking at it, what I'm watching. Maybe I'm just not watching the right stuff, but if I am not watching the right stuff, what is the right stuff? And I've seen the right stuff. It's an okay, but kind of disappointing at an older age astronaut movie. Ha 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 he, which is a joke that's not gonna land for anyone who's too young to have seen it, unless they still show it in school. That's where I first saw it. We watched it in school. I think the whole thing. It's a long movie, so it was multiple days, but rewatching it recently-ish as an adult, I thought, "Wow, I am way more interested in the early stuff with the pilots as opposed to all the astronaut training stuff and whatnot." Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? But let us talk about Star Wars. So I finished Andor and wrapped up all of my Star Wars watching, rewatching, sans potentially still rewatching again Rogue One post Andor season 2 finishing, but I don't know if I really want to or not. In terms of Andor, I thought the last arc was pretty solid. The first two episodes of it, episodes 10 and 11, I thought were very strong, very tense, very thrilling. We got to see more of what is her name? He wanted to call her Freya now, but Stellan Skarsgård's Luthen's assistant, who for me with the that dynamic, she always felt like the brains behind the rebellion. She is the one who always seemed like she was doing the hard work and was telling him what to do in many situations. We get backstory here that only solidifies my believing that she is the real driving force, especially when she starts getting older, because we see her young and wanting to really be a part of this. And Luthen feels not exactly wishy-washy, but throughout the entire series, the thing that Andor failed to do for me was make Luthen seem as important as we are led to believe he is. He is apparently, supposedly, one of the most important parts of the rebellion. But I don't get that from him. I don't see him doing a lot of stuff other than just being the face of the store. He just feels like the pretty face, the public face, while I wish I had her name off the top of my head, while his assistant is the real brains behind the organization, whatever. But that's the dynamic that I always saw. We don't really see Luthen doing a whole lot of anything except being the face and talking a lot and ordering other people to do things. Outside of it's a weird little thing. Outside We did get the one bit where he was getting dragged in by that one large ship. I don't know exactly what type of ship it was, but he releases that stuff into the tractor beam that destroys it and gets away. So we got to see him do something there. But outside of that, I just didn't get a sense throughout the entire series, season one and season two, that Luthen was as special and important as they clearly wanted me to think he was, or the way characters think of him as. When Andor is like, "Oh my god, I know, I know Luthen so well. I know him, the good in him and the bad in him. And sure, he's could be pretty fucking awful, but he was so important, and you're just like spitting on his grave." And I'm thinking to myself, I wish I felt the way you do, Andor, because he seemed as important as anyone else. I don't get any kind of special relevance for like it's just so that was the one part of the show where it just completely failed for me. I never got any of that. But it was fun seeing more of his assistant in the last arc, because I wasn't sure how they were going to handle the last arc. If it was going to be all what the last episode was, which was just connecting the series and Rogue One, and that's what the last episode was essentially. Which is why the last episode was like, I get it, you got to do it, you have to connect them, but I didn't want just that. I wanted some more pure Andor stuff material before getting to that, and that's what we got. So the last arc was solid. I wish we got a bit more of Luthen and Dedra interplaying with each other, but I guess you really can't. The only way you would have been able to get that is if there was more interrogation going on and it wasn't just them confronting each other at his store and then him stabbing himself and being unconscious for the rest of the show. Dedra's fate was fitting, but at the same time, I don't know. I wanted something. I mean, it is fitting. And to think about her, even though we're not going to see it, just her life until death, presumably. It's like, yeah, that is really fitting. But then at the same time, kind of underwhelming. Yeah, I don't know. The last shot though, did not like that whatsoever. I just looked at that and I thought, "Oh my god. Really? Really? You had to do this stupid bullshit so that we can still have some kind of connection to Andor, and then we're going to definitely see this stupid fucking character in something in the future, whether it be a show or a movie. Fucking why? Why do you have to do this?" So I didn't like that. You can connect it to Rogue One all you want, but don't do that. I don't know why I'm trying to hide the spoiler. We've already talked about spoilers. The baby. Fuck that baby. I hope that baby just. I hope we get some side tangent. Some random character says, "Oh man, did you hear Andor had a kid? Yeah, but that kid died when he was like 8 years old. He got run over by a Chewbacca. He got run over by a. I don't fucking know. Just kill that baby, please, for the love of God." Oh my god. But yeah. Andor Andor was good. It's good. After a rocky first 3 episodes that I really didn't like, I enjoyed the rest of the series. And it remained as one of the best things in Star Wars. I don't think it is the best. There are a lot of people who are like, ugh. And I don't think this season is by far, by any means, a perfect, amazing season, but really strong. And with that, my Star Wars. That hair, what the hell is that? My Star Wars rewatch watch is over, and I will give my final rankings of everything for those interested. So, starting with number 1, obviously. We have Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back, followed by Star Wars: A New Hope. Then we have Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the series, not the movie. Then we have The Mandalorian, and following that, we have Andor. So our top 5: Empire, New Hope, Clone Wars series, Mandalorian, Andor. That is our top 5. Then after that, The Force Awakens, Last Jedi at number 7, The Bad Batch at number 8, The Acolyte at number 9. That's probably one of the most surprising placements on my list, is how high up The Acolyte is. I hated the main characters. I hated the twins. But I think Chimera is one of the most interesting characters Star Wars has ever introduced. And I'm so bummed we're not going to get any more with him. I hope we do in some way, shape, or form. I think, what is his name? Manny, the actor who played him from A Good Place, did such a good job. And I'm so bummed for him because he did a great job. It's a great character. He's a character who we've seen so little of in the grand scheme of things, but or despite that, he cracked my top 5 characters. To just do a tangent there, my number 1 character, Captain Rex, by a mile. I adore Captain Rex. Then I would put probably Obi-Wan. Then I think it's Din Djarin from The Mandalorian. Then Chimera. And what was my list? I had a top 5. I think, oh yeah, Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren could 4 and 5 could be interchangeable. And I used to have Chimera even higher. I think I had Chimera originally at 3, but just the fact that we've had so little of him and very likely we'll get no more, I don't feel great putting him there. And then Kylo Ren loses a lot of placement and it's not his fault nor any of the other characters' fault, but Episode 9 is such a fucking piece of garbage. It is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. Spoilers, you know what's at the bottom of this list. But then, continuing at number 10, we have Rogue One, 11, Return of the Jedi, 12, Revenge of the Sith, 13, The Phantom Menace, 14, Star Wars Rebels, 15, Attack of the Clones, 16, The Skeleton Crew, well, it's just Skeleton Crew, 17, Young Jedi Adventures. Much to my surprise, I quite enjoyed that. And this is all canon stuff. The only non-canon show I watched, I believe, is Star Wars Legends, right? That's the anthology show. And if I were to place that, I would put it under Young Jedi Adventures. I know a lot of people really liked it. I appreciated a lot of the art in it. But from a story standpoint, I did not enjoy the vast majority of episodes. They either were stories I didn't give a shit about, like the one following the band, or they're stories where it felt like we just got the beginnings of a much larger story that needs to be told. And I know with season 3, some of the stories are going to be returning, so we're going to get continuations. And I believe as well, season 3 is going to give us more meaty episodes if the creators want, so we can get longer form stories, not full on movies, but maybe in that 30-40 minute range, possibly. So that should be helpful there, because I really do like the art of some of the episodes. It's going to be a wide ranging opinion there, like what appeals to each individual person. It's all very, very subjective, but from a story standpoint, they just didn't do much for me. So it's a fairly low. It would be low on my list. That's why it would be under Young Jedi Adventures, which I overall enjoyed quite a bit. And that's coming back this fall with season 3. And hopefully that's the last season, because I don't know how much more story there is to be told there. But then after Young Jedi Adventures at 18, 19, and 20, we have Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Underworld, and Tales of the Empire. Then we get into the 20s with 21, Solo, Star Wars story. 22, Obi-Wan Kenobi, the show, obviously. I mean, it's not the character. 23, Ahsoka, the show, obviously not the character. 24, Star Wars Resistance. I'm looking at this right now. Maybe Resistance should be. That's the one where I'm looking at it now, just looking at my list. That's the first time or first show going through all this that I look at and I think maybe that should be higher. Maybe that should be above the Tales series. Because I don't know. That's a show where I liked a fair amount of the characters, and I think they just wasted so much of it on this stupid story, tying it in with the grand story in a way that I think really hurt the show. It's just a stupid thing that didn't need to be there. We didn't need to have this resistance tie-in. I know it's called resistance, but I wish it was just following these people on their little station doing whatnot, but it wasn't that. So then at 25, we have the Book of Boba Fett. Boba Fett being probably my least favorite character in all of Star Wars. I hate him. He was a fine character in the original trilogy. He was a cool character to look at, and then he died in a kind of pathetic way. He wasn't much of a character. He just looked cool. And then fans really liked him, I guess, just because he looked cool. And because of that, and probably popularity in terms of toy sales and other shit, they just keep bringing him back for fucking, I don't know why. And the actor who plays him now, who played, what is his name? Jango Fett. And of course, being the person who they cloned all of the clone troopers and Boba Fett from, same actor. That hurts the character because he is not a good actor. He's also old and fat, and in the Book of Boba Fett, he just comes across as old and fat and pathetic. So when he's fighting, it's just like, ugh, this looks bad. And there are many instances in the show where he is fighting and he gets beaten, but then somebody else comes and saves him. So I don't get the narrative that Boba Fett is this good. He just seems like a piece of crap. He doesn't seem like a good bounty hunter who's capable. He just seems like a pathetic loser in my eyes. And I hate that we keep getting more and more and more of him. The fact that he kills, what's his name, Cad, the the cowboy bounty hunter dude who was half of Tales of the Underworld. Thinking Cat Bailey was like that. No, it's it's a Star Wars character. It's Cad. It's not a video game journalist. But I hate him so much. But then our final two, we have something like in my eye, it's freaking me out. We have the Clone Wars movie at 26, and then we at 26 is like 26 is here. We'll just say it's here. And then at 27, the final one in the list, it's all the way on the fucking floor, and that is Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, which I think is horrendous. The Book of Boba Fett and the Clone Wars is just really, really bad. I don't. It's so bad. But the Book of Boba Fett, to compare that with The Rise of Skywalker, the two lowest live action things, the Book of Boba Fett just feels embarrassing and pathetic. But The Rise of Skywalker is horrendous, and I think genuinely harms the series. Genuinely harms the property. Is it irreversible? Is there no way to get out of it? I don't think so, obviously. But I think it is a perfect example of a company listening to the vocal minority and adjusting things based on the feedback to The Last Jedi and just giving in so badly, so much. It's so fucking, it is embarrassing to what they end up doing, but it's harmful to the series, and that's why it is as low as it is. Well, it's at the bottom. But in terms of Star Wars and all that jazz, that's enough of that. Before we get to anime and all that, I have started rewatching because I wanted to see if I really want to put my not put my money where my mouth is, but just if I want to spend a premium for an Outer Prince set, which is for the Dick Van Dyke Show, and I'm 7 episodes in, I think, at this point. It's still as good as I remember. I just forgot that Richie was there from the very beginning, but it makes sense that he would be because he's a little kid, and if he wasn't there from the beginning, he would just be there at the very end because they're not gonna just adopt this random kid. And it's not that he is well, he is bad, but it's not that I don't like the character or anything like that. I'm trying not to be mean. The thing about Richie that seems very evident to me is that he is not an actor. And you could say that about most kid actors, but I mean in the sense that I don't see or feel any kind of acting bug in him. I don't think he probably did a lot of work after this. I don't think he wants to do this. He comes across as a kid who someone looked at and said, "Hey, you're cute. We want a cute kid for this show. You're going to be on the show and you're just going to be cute." Okay? And he's just like, "Huh? What? Oh, okay. They're telling me I have to do this. I'm doing this." And he just seems kind of confused every time he's on screen. And he reads off of cue cards. It seems like a lot of times where he's just reading, he's looking off, not even at the characters, not at Dick Van Dyke or Mary Tyler Moore. He's just reading it. And then he looks back at them and is like, "Oh," he hears the audience laughing too. They give him positive feedback. He's like, "Oh, I did good. Look at me. Ha ha ha." But he is clearly just a kid who is cute to many. I'm indifferent towards him, but I find him very annoying. Thankfully, he's not a huge part of the show, but it is a one negative aspect of the show. I don't like the male character at Dick Van Dyke's workspace either. He's fine, but and I definitely prefer all the stuff whenever we get more with Van Dyke and Mary Tyler Moore. That's where it really shines. The work stuff is fine, but the home life is much better. One of the last episodes I watched was where he was doing a show. Richie was doing a play as the head bunny, the lead bunny, and he was singing this song, and I was like, "Fucking you're a terrible singer, kid. Fucking please stop singing this to the top. I'm the ba 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 ba. Wonder why you're the Mona Lisa." And I'm like, "Fucking please stop it." But good show. Good show is good show. So with that, we get to the main topic, which is the spring 2025 anime season one of the weakest seasons in a while? Because it sure as hell feels like it. I am to remind everyone, I am currently watching. Why do you keep minimizing this thing? You stupid, stupid browser. I am currently watching One Piece, Apothecary Diaries, My Hero Academia Vigilantes, Windbreaker, and Witch Watch. And I'm rewatching Fire Force. I'm what am I, 6 episodes through season 2 to just get that out of the way. Fire Force, finishing season 1, really enjoyed it. Ended up giving it 8. I bumped my score up from a 7 to an 8. And so far in season 2, I'm having a pretty all right time, but I can't really say much about it so far because it was just this big battle and trying to get the fifth pillar who has awakened. That, of course, didn't work out as they wanted, but there hasn't been much character stuff going on so far. It's been primarily just this big battle of the Infernals, another demon showing up. How they dealt with the demon was fun. Seeing them all work together. That was a good bit. A lot of Shinra against the big black dude from the White Clad. Who the thing about that fight is that we see Shinra develop and improve upon himself in his technique and his ability to pull off this rock move counter on the dude and land a super powerful, cool looking hit. And you feel like, oh man, he just leveled up. And then lo and behold, that dude was fine. He just say, oh, you're the first person, I don't know if ever or in a while, to do damage to me, any kind of damage to me. But I'm also just still, I'm fine. I can still beat the shit. You did some damage to me, but it's more like a scrape than a broken bone or something serious. And he just punches his fucking face and knocks him into a building. And that felt weird to have Shinra level up, to put it in gaming terms, and for that to amount to essentially nothing. It's like, okay, you had this big drawn out battle between you two, back and forth, and you figured out that he was just a second generation. You figure out how to counter his attacks, and you successfully pulled it off after trying and failing multiple times. Yeah, good on you. You won that battle, but actually you didn't win the battle. It amounted to nothing. Yeah, all right. That that felt weird for him to just it would be like in Dragon Ball. I mean, there are probably plenty of instances of this, but Goku get into a fight or whoever's fighting, and then the bad guy ends up winning. And then Goku's just, all right, well, can't do anything else. Moving on. I don't know. It felt weird, but it had some great animation. Uh, people, I want to just apologize to anyone watching the video for this episode, just because you're gonna see me doing a lot of eye things, and it's gonna look like I'm nuts because there's just like my right eye just feels like there's part of it that wants to stay partially closed, and it's driving me insane. I'm trying to just open my eyes large, and I feel like I'm constantly looking like a psychopath. But I'm enjoying season 2 so far of Fire Force season 2. I am unsure of where the season goes because looking at my original score of a 4, I don't know why I had it that low, but we'll see if something great. I don't know. But yeah, that's Fire Force. Then with this season, One Piece, I haven't seen the latest episode because last week there was no real episode. It was a special, and I typically skip the specials for One Piece, which some people might think, what? But for me, it's such a long drawn out series that I love, but when there's not a real episode, I just think to myself, okay, I'm gonna take a break this week because One Piece is a lot. And anytime you give me an opportunity to take a break, I'm gonna take that break. And I haven't seen the most recent one, which aired today. I don't know if it's already aired because I'm recording this a little bit earlier than usual. But then Apothecary Diaries 2, I'm really liking it. It's a continuation. It's technically a winter 2025 season series show. And I'm really liking it. But it's not a show that I get excited about. I really, really like it a lot. It is a show I look forward to, but it's not the most exciting show in the world. And yeah, I don't know. It's not something I feel the need to be like, oh my God, everyone needs to watch this because I don't think it's going to appeal to everyone. My Hero Academia Vigilantes, I'm enjoying, and getting the Stain reveal or just my realization. I'm sure plenty of people got it right away, but I didn't until I think it was the last episode where we see him cut his face and the fight between him and what is his name, the brawler dude. But seeing basically how Stain got his origin story was very fun and made me think. While I still, not, I was gonna say, believe. You're trying to mix agree and believe. But while I still believe that Vigilantes is something that can be enjoyed on its own, I don't think that's not the case anymore. I do think to really get the most out of it, you should be a My Hero fan because you do get these ignoring Stain right now, but you do get to see characters you know about or know very well from the show, like the brother of the fast dude, or other characters from the school and so on. You get to see them, and that's fun. With Stain, it's really cool knowing who he is or who he'll become later down the line from your knowledge of My Hero Academia proper. And you're not going to get that same realization or same level of connection if you're just watching Vigilantes by itself. I would compare it to anyone who's played the Yakuza games. Playing Yakuza 0 as your first Yakuza game or as your whatever, not your first. I played Yakuza 0 after having already played multiple Yakuza games, never to completion, but I played multiple Yakuza games enough to know Majima as a character and know what kind of character he is, who he is, and so on. So that for me, Yakuza 0 was extra special. I adore the game, but it was extra special being there and seeing Majima's story because I knew where it all led to. I knew who he was in the future. So seeing what events shaped him and made him become who he is made it all the more powerful and emotional. The Yakuza 0 is an incredible game, and the story is incredible. The the emotion, like it's so good. But I do think if you have at least a bit of knowledge going into it prior, you get a little extra out of it. And I think the same is true for Vigilantes. Then Windbreaker, I'm enjoying, but just like the first season, it's a show that I enjoyed, but I never felt like I wanted to scream from the rafters. Oh my God, this is so good. Everyone needs to watch this. It's just I like it. It's a solid show. This is the season of 7 out of 10s. Witch Watch, it's fun. But again, it's like, yeah. This most recent episode we had the crow and the witch. I don't know these characters' names. It's just the crow, the witch, and the ogre. But the crow and the witch wanted to become YouTube celebrities, and it was fun watching that play out as someone who makes content for YouTube. But it was fine. Then the storyline after that was what was it? I watched this early today and I'm already forgetting. That's the problem with the show is that it's fun in the moment, but it immediately just escapes my memory after I'm done watching it. What was it? I don't know. Yeah, that's all I'm watching. There is something I want to watch of this season that I put on my planning that I can't remember. I was just looking at what other from the season is out, and I said, "Oh, here it is." Kowloon Generic Romance. Don't know if it's any good or not, but I'm always down for a romance. It's an adult romance, so it appeals to me in that sense. But just thinking about this season, it doesn't feel all that exciting. It feels pretty underwhelming, and part of me feels like this has to do with something I talked about in a much earlier episode, maybe at the start of the season. The fact that the next season, the summer 2025 season, looks insane. it looks absolutely insane. If we go to that, why does the browser constantly want to do what it's doing to me and P and me O? But if we go to the summer 2025 season, we have Dandadan season 2, Demon Slayer, the Yaiba Infinity Castle arc, which is the last or second to last arc. We have the Chainsaw Man movie finally coming out. We have My Dress Up Darling. We have season 2. We have Kaiju number 8 season 2. We have I don't know what this is. But then we have Sakamoto Days, the second part of the season. We have Call of the Night season 2, Rising of the Shield Hero season 4. We have the second season of Rascal Does Not Dream of blah blah blah. We have the continuation of this most recent season of Doctor Stone. We have Grand Blue season 2, which is a show that I watched the first season of apparently, and it got a 7 out of 10 from me. I don't remember at all. That we have some new panty and stocking. So it's a very, very stacked season, summer 2025. And I look at that and I think, man, if only one or two of these could have arrived here, if Sakamoto Days or maybe if just something else could have made it here as opposed to being in the summer, it would have helped because this just feels like a pretty underwhelming season. And that's a shame because I love anime. I love being excited about it, but I just don't feel that with anything. And I look at next season and I'm terrified of it because for me, I cannot wait for Dandadan season 2. I love the first season. I just thought the last episode was a piece of shit, bullshit cliffhanger. Like it wasn't even a cliffhanger episode. Dandadan season 2 was a big fat, like we're just gonna end the season in the middle of something. And that that really bothered me. That was a 9 out of 10 show that I dropped to an 8 out of 10 for the last episode alone. But always excited for more Demon Slayer. I don't love it like some people. Demon Slayer for me is a really solid overall high 7, low 8. But a lot of people would put it at a 9 or a 10. I think it's a really good show, but it's not a great or amazing show. Then Chainsaw Man, I was underwhelmed by the series because there's so much hype going into it that I expected more from it, but I never I never connected with the story or the characters. But maybe upon a rewatch, because I'll probably rewatch the first season at some point, maybe I'll better appreciate it. My Dress Up Darling, ooh, of all the stuff, yeah, definitely. I don't even have to think about it. My Dress Up Darling season 2 is what I'm most excited for because that first season surprised the hell out of me. That is one of my 10 out of 10s. I mean, I have a lot of 10 out of 10s because I've watched so much stuff and just through the sheer number of stuff I've watched, there are going to be quite a few 10s. And My Dress Up Darling surprised the hell out of me. I was worried it was going to be nothing but fan service, and you get some of that, and especially early on. But I think while you get plenty of her being in skimpy outfits, it's all because of the cosplay nature of it, and it it it's just a beautiful show about two people following their passions and connecting through their passions and connecting on other levels. It's just I was so pleasantly surprised by it because I thought it was just going to be this stupid, silly little fan servicey rom-com, but it had more to say and more to be than just, hey, look at this cosplay fan, look at her in skimpy outfits. And I can't recommend the show highly enough. It's so good. And I'm excited for another season of it. I'll definitely be rewatching that ahead of it because it's been a while and you give me an excuse to rewatch something I love, I'm going to do it. Kaiju number 8, really like that. And then I'll continue Sakamoto Days. Dr. Stone, I enjoy it. Dr. Stone is similar to Apothecary Diaries. I just like Apothecary Diaries more. Rascal Does Not Dream of blah blah blah. Well, of Santa Claus in this place is something I'm excited about because I remember loving the first season so much, but it's been a while. I'll have to rewatch that for sure. Rising of the Shield Hero 4, I liked the first season and it felt it just plummeted after that. So not excited about that, but I'll probably watch it anyway. But it's a big season. It's a big season next season. And I think that along with the underwhelming feel of this season just makes the spring 2025 season seem really weak. So I'd love to hear what others think about this season. If there are shows I'm not watching, because I gave you what I'm watching. It's not a big list because I looked at other things and I said, nah, I don't know about this. I don't know about that. I'll focus my time on rewatching Fire Force to get to Fire Force season 3. And so and even on that point, I don't feel like I've heard a lot about Fire Force season 3. So either I've just not heard a lot of love and praise for it, or that has also underwhelmed. So yeah, love to hear other people's thoughts on this season. And if anyone has recommendations from this season, if you would double down on the show I mentioned, that rom-com show, let me know. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this here episode of Animezingly Baka. Once again, I am Marcus Nez. Y'all can find me pretty much everywhere at PX Sausage. If you enjoy this here show or any of the stuff I do and what have you, you can support me and my nonsense over at patreon.com/PXS. There you can get access to a monthly Q&A, a private Discord channel, along with some fancy Discord rules, and the random drop on the Patreon here or there, depending on your tier. Or you can just support me if that is your fancy. In addition to the Patreon, or that is again, patreon.com/PXS. In addition to the Patreon, you can find links to the site, the YouTube, the Discord, and so much more over at pxsausage.com. That is the letter P, the letter X, sausage.com. That is it. That is all. As always, thank you for watching or listening. I hope you enjoy this here episode, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. But for now, adios, arrivederci. Bye bye.
It's go time, go daddy. It's go time, go daddy.